A man who wears the 10 pounds of gold, the nature boy, Ric Flair.
You know, I always like to take this opportunity to talk about myself.
The 16-time heavyweight champion has arrived.
I've got the style and profile like never before.
The greatest talker in the history of the business is behind the mic once again.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine like, jet flying, son of a gun. Woo!
This is Wooooo Nation with Ric Flair.
I'm the man. Ric Flair.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nature Boy Ric Flair here, 16 times your world champion and the host of Wooooo Nation, along with my multi-millionaire co-host, Conrad Thompson. And FYI, for those of you who don't know it, Conrad and I are headed to Dallas next week for the Alabama-Michigan State football game. In Dallas, get ready. We're coming on Conrad's Wooooo Nation G5 jet, okay? Make room for us. Make accommodations. Dallas, Nature Boy, Conrad Thompson on their way. Woo! And today, ladies and gentlemen, after watching one of the greatest TLC pay-per-views I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of them, we thought about it for a couple of days and then decided who else could you ask to be a guest on your show today than the greatest TLC player, the greatest high flyer of all time, the legendary Jeff Hardy, who along with his brother are legends in the sport of professional wrestling. Talking to Jeff right now, who is in Raleigh, North Carolina, at his beautiful home with his suicide death ramp in the front yard where he continues to jump motorcycles, ride bicycles. Jeff, slow down. You're a father now, please. How are you, sir?
Yes. Good. I think that was God's way of slowing me down, actually. And I just want to say I'm proud that the Imagination is a part of the Wooooo Nation today.
Thanks, man. We'll talk about some places we've wooed at over the years, but let Conrad start out. Conrad is a huge fan, and probably afterwards he'll want to invite you to the Conradison for an evening, and Beth will let you out. But we'll talk about that later. But Conrad, take off, man. It's Jeff Hardy, the one and only.
Well, Jeff, first of all, thank you for being on the show, and I know you are a North Carolina native, and I'm sure being from North Carolina and a wrestling fan, you probably have grown up a Ric Flair fan. Tell us a little bit about what that was like growing up in North Carolina and then the first time you met Rick.
For sure. We used to go to Fayetteville, to the Cumberland County Civic Center, to Raleigh from time to time at Dorton Arena, Charlotte, Independence Arena, I believe, back in the day. But, yeah, we're huge Ric Flair fans, huge Freebird fans. I was a huge Sting fan, as the painted faces show. Just growing up around that just inspired us to be just like those guys. And we're lucky we had a father that would drive us around to all these events so we could actually see what we dreamt of being. And then to finally work with Rick and wrestle Rick was, oh, my God, it was a very surreal moment and such an honor to wrestle all these guys that we grew up watching and were able to work with. It's just a huge honor and dream come true.
And then when you actually first met Rick, would that have been when you were working preliminary matches, or would that have been when Rick came over to the WWE in 2001 or 2 or whatever that was?
I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly when that was. I mean, I know it was in the WWE when we first met, but I can't remember exactly. I don't know if Rick does, but it was somewhere in the WWE after the Attitude Era, sometime after that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I came in.
Can't really remember.
I came in, and you and Matt were like two of the biggest components in the company, and
okay.
And then
So that was during the Attitude Era, maybe.
No, right after. Right after.
Right after. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
and I knew
that sounds right.
Michael Hayes loved you guys, and to this day, I mean, he's a huge fan of yours, as is everybody. I mean, Conrad, it's hard to explain, but and this is taking nothing away from Matt, but Jeff was over like Sting, like Ricky Steamboat, I mean, one of those guys. I mean, he captured the imagination of not only every young kid. I mean, a young kid, just kids, period, and adults. But the girls loved him. It was Jeff Hardy, Swanton, man. And I only took that once. Yeah. Thank you.
No problem.
No problem. Man, yeah. I was as nervous working with you if you thought you were nervous. In my prime, I was going off the top rope once in a while, but I wasn't doing inverted dives, swantons. And I swear to God, every time I see Jeff or I see Beth, I say, how is he holding up? You never slow down, man. You just keep going. And now you got a broken leg from playing around in your front yard on a motorcycle, right?
Yeah, and you were doing those swantons all those years before. I had a little different style than mine, but for all those years, you were off that top turnbuckle, man, doing basically the same thing.
Yeah.
But, I broke my leg April 28th on my dirt bike at my track here that I designed. I'd made 3 jumps, probably 2.5 years ago, and I've been terrified of them. But I was wrestling good when Matt and I won the TNA World Tag Team titles. I feel like I was wrestling the best I've ever wrestled in my entire life. And, and I was also riding good because during my whole career, I've always rode, dirt bikes, motocross in my spare time. And I finally built up the nerve to do one of them, and it went great. I made it. I waited about a month before I attempted the next one, and again, it was terrifying, but I got over that fear and went for it, and I made it. It was great. But that third one, man, the same kind of thing. I was afraid. The fear got the best of me because I could have hit it a little faster, but I came up short, and it was horrible. I mean, I cased the landing so bad, and I just remember waking up on the ground and in terrible pain. I couldn't breathe, and for the first time in my life, I could not get back up. And my buddy was out there filming it, and I said, "Yo, we got to call 911. I got to go to the hospital." So at first, I thought I broke both legs. It felt so intense, but luckily it was just my right leg. And now the problem is, after 4 to 5 months of dealing with that, my knee was swollen for so long. So I finally went back to the doctor that did my surgery, and I said, something's going on with my knee, man. You can really see it now that the swelling's starting to go down, and it just moves like it's so unstable. And he said, oh, wow, you must have a torn ACL. I must have missed that because I was just focusing on fixing your tibia. So then I go in for an MRI. I get the MRI. I come back to that same doctor. He says, wow, this is amazing. Your ACL is not torn, but we need to remove 20% of your meniscus. And I was going, what? Something strange is going on there. Wow. So I went to a knee specialist for a second opinion, thank God, because when I went to him, they totally misread my MRI. My PCL is destroyed, and that's what the problem is. That's why I have no stability in my knee. It's amazing. I can walk as good as I can, and I actually got a pretty good brace. It feels to stabilize it pretty good. I think I'm gonna try to wrestle with it and see how it goes. But I mean, I'm definitely looking at a surgery to go in there and surgically repair it, because for me to ever be back to, because there's so many things I couldn't do now as far as landing on my knees, especially the way I wrestle. And I mean, I would have to totally modify my style, which I'm going to anyway. But long story short, they got to go in there and take out that rod that they put in my tibia to fix it, and drill another hole through the tibia to fix the PCL. And then 6 to 9 months, I'll hopefully be 100% again. Wow. So yeah, other than that, I'm doing okay.
All right, Rick, now it's time to talk about our very favorite sponsor here on Woo Nation. It's Casper Mattress, and of course we like talking about Casper Mattress because if anybody is a mattress expert, it's Ric Flair. Am I right?
A limousine-riding, jet-flying mattress expert.
And why do you need to know about Casper? Well, because they're the online retailer of premium mattresses for a fraction of the price. You see, the mattress industry has inherently forced customers into paying notoriously high markups, but Casper is revolutionizing the industry by cutting the cost of dealing with resellers and showrooms and just passing that savings directly on to you, the consumer. So here's what you need to know about Casper. These mattresses have been obsessively engineered at a shockingly fair price. They've got just the right sink, just the right bounce, and they do this by combining 2 technologies, both latex foam and memory foam, and they're going to come together for brighter nights and better days. Isn't that right, Rick?
Brighter nights, longer nights, and for sure, brighter days.
Come on, risk-free trial and a return policy all in place for you at Casper as well. And here's what they're going to recommend you do. Try sleeping on a Casper for 100 days with free delivery and painless returns. Here's what we're talking about. These mattresses are made right here in America, and they're at an outstanding price. Only $500 for a twin-size mattress, only $950 for a king-size mattress. When you compare that to the industry average...
Conrad, I don't mean to interrupt you. Don't forget that, how's that song go? About a little afternoon delight on a Casper? Holy cow, man. It works.
And you can do it right now and get a great deal. All you've got to do, just for listening to Woo Nation, is go to Casper.com/Flair. How do you spell Flair, Rick?
Flair.
And when you get there, you're going to get an extra $50 off. So it's already a great price, but just for listening to our show here, Woo Nation, you get an extra $50 off. Just go to Casper.com/Flair. And when you get there, you're going to enter what promo code, Rick?
Flair. Woo!
Casper.com/Flair. Don't forget the promo code, Flair.
Woo! Yeah, well, I only keep up with you through what I hear from people. I mean, I talk to you guys when I see you. I've seen you, I guess, last time I saw you was in Charleston. You and Beth were there with Matt at a signing we had with Steve Perkins. And
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit there, but it was so great seeing you. I mean, not only did you, I think you're one of these guys that's transcended the business in terms of, nobody did that, and then Ed, you and Matt were doing it. Then along came Edge, and it was just phenomenal. And then, I think it got to the point where they raised the bar so high. You guys did in terms of what you guys were doing on those ladder matches and stuff. And then I think the company kind of backed off for a while because it's the worst injury pay-per-view of the year. And this year, they only came out with one guy getting hurt. So, and even that wasn't too bad. But what you guys have put yourself through, and I mean, to this day, that the two greatest bumps I've ever seen, obviously Foley going off the cage onto the table, but they play that spot of Edge spearing you in midair 12 feet in the air all the time. And I'm going, not a chance, Nature Boy. Not a chance. And then of course, they put me in a couple of those damn ladder matches, one with Edge and then one with your brother. And I looked around and I said, I could take the suplex off the top of the ladder. That was no problem. I just have no offense. And so I looked around and that crew, we were in Chicago, and I walked up to Matt. I said, Matt, here's the deal. I'm going to take that suplex off the top rope, but I'm only taking it from you, Val. So all these other guys standing around are thinking about giving me that suplex that Vince wants me to take. The only one to me. God. And Matt said, I won't forget you. So in other words, if I'm climbing up the top of the ladder, and it's not you climb up on the other side, Matt, I'm climbing down. I don't care what they say when I go backstage. So sure enough, Matt gave it to me. We made it. But, I mean, the 12-foot ladders taking a suplex off the top. When I took it from Edge,
that's huge.
It doesn't hurt your body, but for me, like I've got that inner ear thing, it knocks that thing on my inner ear out, right? And
yeah.
And then I made the mistake of telling Edge we had that one in Raleigh, my first ladder match, and I told Edge, I said, I can't do anything, but I can take the bumps. I said, what can we do that would be cool that you've never done? He said, well, I could put you on a table and jump off the top of the ladder, it's 12 feet high. He said, that'd be pretty cool. I said, well, we can do that. Well, I had no idea what I signed up for there. So he put me on top of the table. I had cut myself, so I couldn't see anywhere. I was covered in blood, which always, that helps conceal my weakness in the ring in terms of ability. I can always bleed. And he jumped off that thing on top of me, and the table broke like nothing. But you forgot that he weighed 240 pounds. And you bottom out. No matter what happens, you're bottoming out with him on top of you. And I went, holy Christ, what have I done to myself? I was biting my fingers, pinching my thumbs. But I was fine.
From that high, that table's going to go, man.
Oh, yeah.
Go quick. And then you got follow-up splash. Yeah,
well, that was my claim to fame. That with Edge, and Edge said, can you just push the ladder over? I said, yeah, I guess I can do that. Put it in the right place, though. So Edge basically worked the ladder match with himself, but I was just a component with a blade.
Even those 12-foot ladders, I mean, people they're so big and the base is so wide. When you do like the suplex, for example, man, you're landing pretty close to the ropes. You know, the hardest part of the ring. So I mean, it's crazy. And then when you talk about 14-foot tall ladders, I mean, then you're really getting up there. I mean, they do look like 20-foot ladders. But if you ever go and actually look at a 20-foot ladder, which I have before, the base, with it being open, would probably be almost as wide as the ring. They are huge. But 14 feet feels like 20 feet, especially when you're coming off.
Have you been on a 14-foot ladder?
That's the highest one, yeah. That's the highest one I balanced on.
Listen, they're not getting 12 feet was my limit, and I was hoping they'd put an 8-foot one in just for me. And maybe the people wouldn't notice.
Yeah, when I wrestled Matt at the WrestleMania when Matt and I wrestled, I did the leapfrog off. I believe it was off a 12 over a 14. So I was posting off the 14, and that was insane. And oh my God, it hurt so much. But that was the biggest leapfrog leg drop I've done because those 14-foot ladders are huge. And I mean. Speaking of injuries, I don't know. Is Christian? He's been injured quite a bit. Do you know anything about that?
Oh yeah, well he's got the concussion issue going on. I think he's I think he's pretty much finished up in terms of ever wrestling again. As is Edge because of the neck issue. So
Edge and Matt. Even Matt's had a few surgery, but he is great now. He's wrestling. He's doing. I think he's better than ever, man. But why I bring that up is because I've been so lucky. Although it was outside the ring, I got hurt. This is my first serious injury that I'm dealing with. So now I realize how much I love wrestling. Because I got to go to these shows and do these appearances, and not being able to be a part of it just kills me. And so I'm getting a taste of what. Matt's gone through, Adam, with the surgeries and all that stuff. I realize what that's like now, and it does. It hurts, and I just hope I can get back to normal.
Oh, you will. The thing about you, Jeff, is you guys, you've always stayed very fit. You've never had a weight issue and that means a lot when you're healing. I mean, because God, you have put your body through a lot. I mean, it's you take just 5 years of doing those ladder matches, say once a month or once every 3 months, or 6 years, how many years you did it. I mean, that was a lot. I mean, I just did 2, and it was later in my career. I was in my 50s, but still, my body held up. Does that make sense? Even when I wrestled you, I was like 55 years old, right? What was I thinking about it?
Oh, my gosh. I remember my ankle was really bad that night. That's one thing I remember about that match when I was struggling with that pretty bad. But yeah, that's still so cool to say that I've wrestled Ric Flair, man. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, you wrestled Ric Flair, half of Ric Flair.
Okay. That's still good for me.
The better half was around 1989. But I sure had fun doing it. Well, tell me, so I'm trying to put all this together. You have to have surgery again now before you can even start the healing process?
Yeah, most likely. I'm going to try to wrestle with this brace on in January. I think I'm going to see what it feels like, but I mean, I'm kind of scared, honestly, to see what it. Because I don't want to hurt it worse, And I tried physical therapy for a month, and the physical therapist and me agreed. It was like, man, there was several things I couldn't even do. My right leg's so weak, and he said, "Yeah, man, you can." The way you fly around, especially, and even my chiropractor, he said it a long time ago. So you can have that repaired, So, but I mean, I'm going to give it a shot. I think I want to try maybe just like a few easy matches and just see how it feels. I'm just going to have to, avoid landing on my knees and maybe not doing as many moves I normally do and just see how it goes. But ultimately, I mean, I'm going to end up having the surgery sometime early next year, and sadly, I'll probably be missing most of 2016.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, here's the deal. I was with you when I first came. When I first came to TNA, you were there, right? And you showed me your royalty check that just came from WWE, and you've been gone for 2 years. I don't feel sorry for you, okay?
You're right.
Conrad. This guy got some royalty checks on the WWE, brother. He's like number 2 of all time. Not trying to give anything away, Jeff, but I saw it. And I went, you got to be kidding me, man. Let's go cash that and go out tonight. Because Jeff Hardy can drink. I got news for you. Not anymore. Beth's got him on a short lease. But Jeff Hardy can roll, man. We were in Europe one time drinking Jack, and I actually caught Jeff throwing the Jack over his shoulder.
Well done.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah. I remember. I was seeing triple, I believe.
Oh, God. The greatest story of all time is the night that Jeff and Matt Hardy carried Shawn Michaels to his room. I finally cracked Shawn. He came down to the bar. Remember Shane McMahon was there, Jeff?
Yeah, that was oh, my God.
Yeah.
He told that story. It wasn't long ago he told that story. What a great story, man. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, that was awesome.
Yeah, Shawn was keep telling me if I asked him if I was going to grow up instead of going back on the bus and drinking with you guys. I said, not growing up anytime soon. So the first day it went by, and then he said, "Oh, okay, I'll have a Coors Light." Well, 1 became 2, 2 became 3, 3 became 4, and then we walk in the hotel one night, and I never go to catering, man. I'm going right to the bar, as you know. I'm sorry, I'll admit that.
Right.
We were in that great hotel, I can't remember. And he said, damn it, I'm just going to do this one time just because you're making me so damn mad. So I left you guys. I saw him the next day, and the word was out that the Hardy Boys carried Shawn Michaels to his room. And that is legend. He'll never live that down.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, he's the best. Man.
Oh, he's tremendous, man. What a great guy. Boy, he's just... He just bought himself a 500-acre ranch in the middle of nowhere. He's just out there hiding from everybody.
Wow. I don't blame him, man. That's awesome.
He's on the Ponderosa in Abilene.
Gosh. Oh, my gosh. Somebody, does he have a show, too, on some channel? Like, I don't know if it's a hunting show or...
Yeah, he sure does. Yeah, he's doing real well.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's got...
Somebody mentioned that to me.
He's got both the kids there, and they're all growing up. Boy, his son is like 6'2" now. It's unbelievable. Cameron.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
wow.
And they're out there, and they love it. I mean, he loves the privacy. He sold that big place he had in San Antonio and moved out there, and he just kind of like Austin. He just loves to hunt and fish, and he's got, this big private gate. It's like driving in. It's kind of like going into Conrad's house. It's like it's a process. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, when you see the Conradison, Jeff, the Conradison is what we call Conrad's home. It's bigger in it's bigger in square footage than the whole city of Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my goodness!
And who drives a $347,000 Rolls Royce around Huntsville, Alabama? Half the town doesn't even know what kind of car it is. Okay.
So Jeff,
wow.
Let's talk a little wrestling. Let's get off.
Okay.
I'm curious. The Dudley Boys have recently come back, and you guys had a lot of magic matches with the TLCs back in the day that people still talk about, and were really trendsetters. But they're getting kind of one last run in the WWE. What's the possibility of the Hardy Boys having a run like the Dudleys are right now?
Well, I think there's a huge possibility down the road. Not sure when, but I think Matt and myself would love to end our careers in the WWE, and it'd be super, double great to be able to have a few more good ones with the Dudley Boys for sure. And I don't watch it. I've seen them on there a few times. I watch it every now and then, but even like the TLC, which I'm sure was amazing. Like, I'll be honest, one of the main reasons I don't watch those shows is because the biggest love of me and the biggest part of me wants to be in those matches, and it kind of like that's why I don't watch them because I want to be a part of it. So I kind of stay away from watching it. But as far as us returning and having some more matches with them, it all depends on how long they're going to be there and how long it takes us to get there. I mean, but definitely it's a possibility. I'm just not sure when right now. Everything with me, Matt's ready to go. He could do anything now, but everything depends on my knee right now as far as my future.
Yeah, so what's your current status with TNA right now? I know they're moving over to a new television channel, and I know that you're going to be trying to work on rehabbing the knee this next year, but what do you think the future looks like with you and TNA?
Well, I'll be in my last year. Whenever I'm able to wrestle, I'll be in my last year with TNA. And then I can decide like what I want to do from there. But I gotta, so just kind of, depending on how things go, we're going to do some tapings at the 1st of January, and depending on how that goes, it's kind of when I'm going to decide whether I go through with surgery or try to work a while and avoid surgery with the brace. So it's kind of up in the air. But I will be in my last year with TNA. Well, I am in my last year with TNA after February 28th. So.
Well, it's nice to know that you've had a success both places, but there's no way in the world that Matt and Jeff Hardy aren't in the Hall of Fame of the WWE someday. So I'm sure. I would bet my life that you guys end up there for a couple of years before you guys decide to wrap it up. Because you got a long time going. Beg your pardon?
And I told the fans when the match with Punk, the cage match, and I told the fans, this is only goodbye for now. It's not goodbye forever. And oh my God, I hear that. So like every time I would do a face paint, put the Instagram post up and thank the town that I wrestled in. There's so many people who have said, "Oh, you said this, you can't." And I didn't mean it. I didn't realize it might be 10 or 12 years or a little less. But I did mean it because that is that's where it started, and that's where I want it to end.
All right, Rick, it's time to talk about TuneIn Radio. It's the one app you need for all things audio. Now with TuneIn Premium, you can listen to every single NFL game live for only $7.99 a month and get unlimited access to more than 40,000 audiobooks and commercial-free music, all for one low price. It's TuneIn Premium.
It's all the audio you need for $7.99 a month. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah, well, you had such a phenomenal career there. I'm sure it'll work out because, it's funny that as deep as the company is right now, and I'm there a lot because, as you know, Ashley and Charlotte, my daughter, is doing. Have you seen her on TV lately?
Yes, that's one time I did watch Raw. I don't know if she was the champion yet. She did the figure four and then did the bridge. And you talk about, I got so excited because I love innovative stuff, and I was like, oh my God, that is so simple. Who did she think of that? Who thought of that?
Yeah, she did.
She did that bridge.
Yeah.
Oh, genius, man.
Yeah,
it's just so simple, and it adds so much to the move. It's awesome.
Yeah, she thought of that herself. I don't give her. She can, she was a level 9 gymnast. She can do all the stuff that you could do. She would have. They'd let her, the moonsaults and all that stuff. And to be 5'11" and weigh 155 pounds and be able to do all that is pretty amazing. So, anyway, what was I going to say to you? Going back to her. So you have seen her then, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've seen her perform on TV. Yeah.
Well, she loves the business, and I'm lucky enough to be there. And the point I was making is that, going back to you and Matt, is that as deep as the company gets, we got guys hurt again. Now, Seth Rollins is going to be out for, at least 8-9 months, from a knee injury he got in Europe in November.
Yeah, and I heard about that.
And now Randy Orton won't be back till SummerSlam, if he's back then. And now Barrett just got hurt the other night. King Barrett, and who am I missing? Somebody else? Oh, Cody Runnels is hurt now with a neck issue. And it just, the guys, and I don't think sometimes people, the general public, understands the schedule. You certainly do. But man, if you're up there working and you're on that main roster, you are running up down that highway or flying across that sky, man, every night. It's amazing. And Ashley loves it.
How is Daniel Bryan? What's his status?
I don't think he's coming back. I think that he has been released by his doctor, and this is just thought. I don't know anything for sure. I just hear this from Bree and different people. But I think the WWE is worried about something happening. So I don't know. I don't know what his status is. But I know he wants to come back real bad. But there's sometimes the company, I think, looks at the bigger picture of something happened. Does that make sense? And the majority of his injuries did not occur with WWE. They occurred with Ring of Honor, which I didn't understand.
Oh, wow.
From all that banging around for years with those guys. So, because they do a lot of high wire stuff, but he's a great guy. I hope he comes back, a really nice person, and Brie Bella has just won my heart over. She's an awesome young lady. So, what I'm
they're
saying.
Great.
Yeah, if you look at the roster, we get guys hurt every week. It's unbelievable. I was sitting with Mark Carano watching TLC. He said every one of these matches, I cringe, trying to figure out who we're going to send to the hospital next. You know what I mean? Because those damn things are crazy. Oh.
I'm gonna have to. I'll go back and watch it. Being that you said it's the Usos. I'll eventually watch it.
The Uso, I can't remember the twin brothers. I can't remember which one, but he climbed to the top of the 12-foot ladder and he grabbed one of the masked guys. What are their names?
Lucha Dragon.
Yeah, Lucha Dragon, and he reverse suplexed him off the top of the 12-foot ladder onto a ladder that was hooked between the second rung and the second rope, and they went through it. I mean,
oh my God!
I've seen a lot of stuff over the years, but I came out of my chair on that one. Holy cow!
The ladder broke.
Ladder broke. Yeah,
wow.
They went through it. I mean, backwards. It's hard enough for people that don't understand our sport to understand how it is just to fall backwards in the ring, flat, right? Not a lot of people get that.
Right. Yep.
They went. He went backwards off the top of the ladder. With the kid landing on top of him, it was unbelievable, and didn't get hurt.
Yes, wow.
Yeah, I went out and got their autographs. I said, guys, I need you to get your autographs. If you keep doing that, you won't be around long.
Oh my God! Wow, that is crazy. I always think of especially TLC matches, and how can you continue to top yourself. I would always compare that to the freestyle motocross guys because I love that stuff. I watch it all the time. But those guys are just constantly doing bigger things. And I'm like, oh, my God, how can you? What's going to happen next? But there you go, an example like that. I mean, wow, you can do some unbelievable things and get away with it.
Yeah. Was that you that jumped on top of Edge on the ladder?
Yeah, I think that's the first ladder that's ever been broke. Because I remember them saying that we couldn't use the table, and I said, why don't we break a ladder?
The ladder was outside the ring, right?
Yeah.
And you jumped off the top of the ladder onto him, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was
right. Yeah.
That was another one of those things that I went, oh, my God. I'm so glad that I'm older now and not in a position to anybody to even suggest that I do that. But Edge was fine. It looked like it killed both of you. I don't know how you guys did.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Oh my God! Because I felt it, pretty good. I just kind of sat on him with my, did the Rey Mysterio set kind of thing, and just make sure it was safe and broke the ladder. But yeah, it had to crush him. I mean, big time. And another impressive moment like that was when again at WrestleMania when I wrestled Matt, and I'd always had this human sandwich idea with two tables, and Matt was brave enough to get on the bottom table, and he let me put a table on top of that table.
Yeah, I remember.
A chair around his face, and I did the splash, and oh my God, that was terrifying. But Matt, and luckily, we came out all right.
No, I know, I saw it. I was there to see it, but I mean, they. I don't think as good as the matches were the other night. I don't think anybody's going to try that one.
No.
That kind of separates you. Jesus, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Poor Matt.
One time
I said, Matt, you need to have a drink, and I'm buying. Come on. God.
Oh gosh.
Jesus.
Oh me.
Jeff, you've mentioned it a couple of times. You talked about your WrestleMania match against your brother at WrestleMania 25. Mick Foley kind of made it a thing to talk about, everybody needs a WrestleMania moment. Do you think that was your WrestleMania moment, your match against your brother at 25?
I'm not sure. It was a big moment. It's something that, we always wanted to do. I would probably say so. But I would think the biggest moment for me is definitely the spear from Edge. As far as one single moment like that, that's something that's going to last forever. I mean, and it's going to never get old. It'll always be cool. Even in 2089, I think that'll still be cool. Wow. So that was probably my biggest moment.
Yeah. Now,
I hope that was at a Mania, right?
Yes, it was. It was WrestleMania 17, if I remember.
Okay. So I know we did. It seems like the one in Raleigh might have been it seems like we did the TLC in Raleigh. It was SummerSlam or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you guys.
It was the first time me and Devon were hanging from where the titles were.
Right.
So I'm not sure if that was SummerSlam or another pay-per-view. But that was cool too as well.
It was magnificent, whatever platform or stage you were on. But well, geez, so where is Matt right now? Is he working TNA while you're home?
Yeah, he's working TNA, and he's I think he just got back from Chile. They went over there and did some kind of show in Chile. But he's with TNA, and he's in this involved in this tournament for the world title because he won it. And we had Bound for Glory in Charlotte this past October, and I was the special guest referee, and it was Ethan Carter, Drew Galloway, Matt. I was a special guest referee. And he won the title that night. My dad got up in the ring, his wife, and Matt's newborn baby, Maxwell. They had a big celebration, but then being that I was the one that gave Ethan Carter the push to fate, and then hit him with the chair and all that, it was kind of unfair. And Matt vacated the title just so he could hopefully win it back fairly throughout this tournament. But they're having a tournament now, and I think they're going to determine a new champion the first of the year.
Well, cool. But he's happy working there still?
Yeah, as far as I know, he's doing great. I mean, if you've seen him, he's on fire, man. He does a lot of indies,
I haven't watched the show in a long
too.
time. But I mean, every time I see him, one thing about Matt never looks like he's out of shape. I guess you just mean he's injury-free, right? Because he never looks like he's out of shape.
Yeah, injury-free, man. He's doing great. Like, I also see him do that moonsault. I did a show with him up in New Jersey somewhere, and I was out there ringside with him, and he did a moonsault, and you know how hard your knees can hit the mat, and his knees just smashed it, and I was like, oh my God, I guess being that my knees hurt, it hurt worse, but he was fine, and he's wrestling. He's wrestling great.
Well, that's great. And your dad's in good health still?
Yeah, my dad had the pacemaker and the heart failure installed 2 Aprils ago.
Yeah.
And it went, and it was a little over 2 years. It was pretty rough and dark, and the depression was bad. But overnight, man, when it started to cool down this year, he drove up here to my house one day and said, I believe I'm starting to feel a little better. That now it's cooling off, and man, he is wide open again. He's playing music. He's out telling jokes to everybody, and he's 82 now. But he finally came around and feeling good, and that is just a huge relief, for me. But I still take care of him and make sure he takes his medicine. Every week I fill up his container, and he's rocking, man. He's doing good.
Well, that's great. Conrad, if the Hardy Boys were within 500 miles of their dad was at the show.
That's awesome.
When the Hardys were there, the dad was there. It was awesome. They traveled. I don't even know if they traveled together, but he came to every show that was within driving distance. For several years.
Oh, when our mom died, he was a superhero to raise us, especially when we got into the wrestling thing, and it started to look shady to him. We'd come home all kinds of beat up and cut up, and he was like, "Hey, you boys need to go to a community college or go get you a job somewhere else." But he supported this man through all those hard times of starving, and now he's naturally our biggest fan. But if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing today if it wasn't for him. So he is my overall hero for getting us through that without a mother.
Yeah, that's very cool of you to say that. Well, I'm sure he feels very proud to be your father and you're Matt's father. And you guys are settling down, man. I mean, if you would have told me 10 years ago that some woman was going to tell Jeff Hardy what to do, I'd have said, hell no. It's kind of like a woman telling me what to do, right? I've had 4 of them try. Jeff knows 3 of them. Sorry, Jeff.
Oh, God.
I'm single now, but I'm dating Fifi, the French maid. You met her. She's pushing me too, man. I don't know. I'll have to borrow some money from Conrad to buy a ring.
Oh, no. I'm not losing that deal.
Conrad, you're going to be the best man. She's right here. She's getting mad now.
Y'all have fun.
She's not going to Dallas.
That's okay. More for me and you. Hey, Jeff, let's talk a little bit about how you first started working as an enhancement talent on Raw. I know that it's always cool to kind of see, you know, before they were famous type footage of guys who went on to be WWE superstars, but you had matches with Rob Van Dam and Scott Hall and a lot of other guys. How did that come about? How did that first, that's the commonplace, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, in the Northeast for guys who are indie guys there, but you were in North Carolina, so who put that together, and then who did you learn the most from in those early days of working enhancement matches?
Oh, that's something I kind of miss, you know, because you hardly ever see those anymore. Man, that used to be so fun for us to watch, you know, when they would have the challenge on Sundays or whatever, the WWF Superstars on whatever it was, they would always have the, you know, enhancement matches, and we used to always watch that, and we couldn't wait to get our next shot to go in there and try to impress somebody. But yeah, we learned a lot. Like you watched the match with me and 1-2-3 Kid. That was my second match after I'd wrestled Scott Hall, and it was just a terrible experience for me wrestling him because that ring was so hard. And man, and he just beat the hell out of me, and I just thought I didn't do good, and so I kind of, I was real down. But luckily, the next day I got to wrestle X-Pac, and it went a lot better at 1-2-3 Kid at the time. But if you go back and watch that match, I put him in the headlock at some point, and it's obvious I didn't know what in the hell I was doing. I was like patting my hands together. It was crazy, but just from that, I learned how to do a headlock properly, and we continuously got better the more we would do, and I think we continuously impressed the agents who were checking us out each and every time, and we got better just being out there in front of the crowds, and getting over the nerves and gaining confidence within ourselves. I think for me was the biggest thing, because back in those days I was extremely confident because I felt that I was invincible. I felt I could do anything, any move there was to do. Yeah, going up the Italian Stallion and George South used to drive us all over the place, up to New York, Pennsylvania, wherever. We'd meet them at Charlotte, and then we'd jump in a van, like 13, 14 people just crammed into a church van, and then we'd drive all the way up there. We were the crew, and then they would always think we would get paid like $250 or something for a match, and then we'd have to give them a booking fee of like $100 or something, and it was crazy, but luckily, Chief Jay Strongbow eventually saved us from that situation. We pretty much went to him and said, "Hey, man, this is what's going on. This guy's kind of taking money from us." And
you're talking about the Stallion? Yeah, of course.
And so we established a good relationship with Chief Jay Strongbow, and he started booking us directly instead of going through Stallion. But luckily, I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for Stallion, taking us up there, we wouldn't have been seen or noticed. So that's a good thing we did that. But it all worked out perfectly, and we were very lucky for it to work out like it did.
Yeah. Well, George South is a great guy. I mean, he would do anything for anybody. He keeps on keeping on. I see George all the time, and he's just a wonderful person. So
he is. I just saw him at an appearance. I did that WrestleCade deal, and he was like right behind me where I was signing. He was just as cool as ever, man, and seemed to be doing real good.
Over in Winston-Salem?
Yep.
Oh,
yep,
cool.
I did that this past year. Yeah.
Did Jeff do that? Did Matt do that with you?
Yep, Matt was there, yeah.
Oh, cool. That's very good.
And then I went up to Morgantown and did a show. I think it was the Big Time Wrestler. I just did an autograph signing and a little promo in the ring. But yeah, it was a good day
for Steve, right? Yeah. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steve Perkins is a good guy. I like Steve. I got a lot of time for him. Some of the other independent promoters are a little sketchy, but Steve Perkins is a great guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and always, always very fair and very upfront about what you're going to do and what he's going to pay you. So it's never an issue. Well, so tell me, Conrad, go ahead. I know you wanted to ask him something else. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jeff, let's talk a little bit about when you spent some time in TNA and you had an opportunity to work when you were in WWF and then later in TNA with both Jim Cornette and Vince Russo. those guys seem like they're always all over the internet with different opinions about each other and the business and just totally different philosophies. How would you compare and contrast as far as for you personally, your experience working with a Jim Cornette or a Vince Russo?
I don't know. Jim Cornette, I just remember back in the Smoky Mountain days, I never had a problem. I thought he was always very easy to work with. But as far as I don't read anything online. I don't even follow Twitter timelines. I don't read blogs. I don't do any of that social network news. I don't pay attention to any of that. Like Matt's that guy that keeps up with all that. But working with Vince Russo in TNA was, I thought it was I worked with him when it was the crazy idea to turn me heel, and he was great to work with. I had no problems working with him. But as far as other guys, how they feel, I don't have nothing bad to say about either one of them because they've never treated me wrong or unfairly. I have no complaints with either.
I just meant from a creative process, not necessarily trying to heel on anybody or bury someone, as they say in wrestling, but it's probably totally different approaches. Do you feel like Vince Russo kind of understood your character maybe a little better than a Jim Cornette might, or was that never really an issue between you and them?
I don't know. With me, me and my character is always, I don't know, there's something about me that kind of just works its own magic. People can, I got along good with Vince Russo with the whole, and I think he understood what I wanted to do with the whole Antichrist thing I was doing as the heel. But I don't know. It's like sometimes, people they'll give me things to say, but they know I'm going to do whatever Jeff Hardy does and kind of put it in my own words or do it my own way. And I always feel that. Like it's kind of a rebellious, I don't want to say I don't pay attention to anybody, but I feel like I know myself enough to do good on my own as far as development, and I know what's right for me to do that's going to help me in the long run. So, yeah.
Well, you just said two phenomenal things. Number one, you don't blog, you're not on the internet, and you don't follow it. I wish every young wrestler alive today, I hope they all hear this podcast, because if Jeff Hardy can ignore it, and I don't either. If I want to know something about the wrestling business, I call Conrad. Because
okay, maybe I need to do that.
Yeah, I know. Get Conrad's number because he knows everything, and I don't know how he does it. Like, I don't know how he finds time between counting his money to go on the computer. Period, but he does, and he follows it. And if I want a scoop, or I can be doing something in the middle of the day, and I'll get a scoop. Hey, man. I go, but when he's at a meeting, God forbid I bother him. I'm in a meeting. I got to work, unlike you. Okay, sorry. Jesus, $80,000 a day. Does that work?
Maybe.
All right, Rick, it's time to talk about TuneIn Radio. It's the one app you need for all things audio. Now with TuneIn Premium, you can listen to every single NFL game live for only $7.99 a month and get unlimited access to more than 40,000 audiobooks and commercial-free music, all for one low price. It's TuneIn Premium.
It's all the audio you need for $7.99 a month. Woo, 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 woo.
Maybe I can just book a room at the Conradison one week.
Do it. Hey, don't tell Beth. Come to Atlanta. I'll go with you. I won't tell Wendy. Going down there for a Friday night, Jeff, is a pretty damn good time. And Conrad is the king of the ballet down there. As a matter of fact, he owns stock in the greatest ballet place in town.
Yeah, I went to the late show last night. It was a pretty entertaining Tuesday.
Pretty entertaining Tuesday.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So what's next to accomplish? What's left on the bucket list, Jeff? You've been the world champion. You've had big WrestleMania moments. You've been tag team champions with your brother. Is there anything left on your bucket list of wrestling, or have you pretty much done it all?
I've done most of everything I've wanted to do, but I guess there's two big things. And those two big things are I never got to do a Hell in a Cell in the WWE. That's a pretty big one, and I never main evented WrestleMania. So ultimately, if it could all work out one day before it's all over, I'd love to do those two things.
What was the second thing, Jeff? I didn't hear. What was the second thing you didn't do?
Main event WrestleMania.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Gotcha.
those are huge things. You know, that's a huge thing. So, but you know, if able, you know, and healthy enough, like down the road, if it's ever possible, those are two things I would love to do. But other than that, I mean, I've done quite a lot that I'm proud of, and I just hope I can get over this knee injury and get back to normal and be maybe better than ever. Yeah, I'm just a little bummed out and afraid right now because I've never been threatened by a serious injury before, and this feels pretty serious.
Yeah, well, let me tell you.
But yeah, are those two things okay?
Oh, absolutely they are. And one of the things that we've been talking about a lot this year, and Ric's been campaigning pretty hard for, and I'm pretty sure you'll agree with him, is the fact that the Freebirds and Michael Hayes should go into the Hall of Fame this coming year. Talk to us a little bit about what Michael Hayes meant to you as a performer and what type of inspiration he was to you, or just how he helped guide your career, or just tell us a little bit about your relationship with Hayes.
Well, he's officially, Matt and us, he's our wrestling father. And he has taught us so much. You know, he took us under his wing, and whenever we got our big chance, the big push to be made over and to modify ourselves, we went out to a mall to find out what our new look was going to be. And that was when that was how the kickwear pants and the tight shirts all came about. We all went to the mall together, and we all had different opinions. And you know, Michael was thinking this route, and then Matt was thinking something else. And then we finally agreed on the look that I still to this day wear the baggy kickwear pants and a tight shirt, long sleeve, a little different. But yeah, from that point on, man, we just learned from Michael. We was on the road with him, and as far as psychology, what's right and wrong, you know. The cool thing about Michael with me, my thoughts are sometimes too big for my size. I mean, because they're like too outrageous to where Matt can kind of tone it all down. No, let's do this and put it in this order or whatever. But we just clashed, in the right way as a team. And still to this day, if I had any question as far as what would be better to do in pro wrestling as far as the match goes, I mean, Michael's one of the first guys I would ask as far as opinions. So,
well, I can tell you firsthand,
he was a great teacher.
I can tell you firsthand that he thinks the world of both of you guys. And, you know, Michael and I see Michael quite a bit now because I've been on the road a lot with WWE lately and with Ashley or Charlotte, you know, being the champion now. And it's been thrilling for me, but your name comes up a lot. I mean, the Hardy's name comes up a lot with Michael, and he still thinks the world of you guys. So I'm sure, and Michael, you know, I think Michael has a lot of say-so at the company. So I think when you're ready, I don't think there'll be any problems if you guys elect to go back up there. And what a way to finish it off. And I mean, you know, as you don't know, you try to say that there's other places you can go wrestle and make a living and do it. But once you've been in the WWE, it's just, no matter how you look at it, and I enjoyed my time there at TNA. It was confusing sometimes for me. But once you've been to the big dance, it's really hard to get away from it. I mean, to this day, I love going up there, and I love, you know, talking to the kids. And I told Vince, you should fly me in here to keep the kids loose, man. These guys are all tight. They made a mistake.
You got to be a little loose, man.
Yeah, hey,
you need them.
They made the mistake of sending me to Europe with them for 14 days as a GM. I had them all drinking, buddy, just on the QT.
Oh, man. Oh, wow.
Even Corporate Kane had a couple beers. He never does that. Yeah. I got Corporate Kane lubed up one night. I had to keep Corporate Kane lubed up so the Demon Kane could perform.
Oh, man.
You know the European gig, man. God. Hey, I got to tell one story, and you'll love this. I don't even think Conrad knows this. So me and Jeff and Matt and Beth are trying to check in this hotel in Las Vegas for a pay-per-view. And Ashley and her to-be husband was there, right? And so Ashley goes to me, big mistake. She goes, Dad, can I go hang out with Beth and Jeff? I said, oh, yeah. I mean, you know, you got a plane to catch tomorrow. Good luck. Ashley and her husband to be. Ashley wasn't in the business. She just came out there to have fun. Ashley went with Jeff and Beth and whoever else, and they missed 5 flights. and her husband threw up all over every taxi cab in Las Vegas. And
my God.
She texted me, she said, "Dad, I'm still at the airport. What do I do?" Well, I said, "I'm at the building. I can't help you out." She said, "We've missed every flight." So the moral of the story is, well, it's much better now. It's a much more controlled environment. But the moral of the story is, in the 80s was don't hang around with Flair. In the 90s, a little bit of Flair. But definitely at the end of the 90s and the early 2000s, don't hang around with the Hardys. They're going to hurt you.
Oh my God!
They've got John Cena under lock and key now. You know.
Wow.
John's not allowed to get out of the bus. Yeah, be a little hard for us. Be a little hard for us to run around like we used to. And social media has kind of changed that gig for us.
It has for sure.
Well, listen, we're going to let you go. I cannot thank you enough. Conrad, you want to ask him anything else?
Yeah, is there anything before we let you go, Mr. Hardy, you'd like to plug or mention for all the Hardy fans that are listening right now where they can keep up with you or see what's next or what's going on or anything you'd like to promote?
Not really. My main thing is just, I'll post a picture on Instagram every now and then. And right now my main focus is, getting better and dealing with this knee injury. But, I would just like everybody to know that I'm going to do what I can with this brace and try to wrestle, but most likely I'm going to be having surgery and I'll be missing a lot of next year, but it's just the way it is and that's what I got to do. But I want to get back in full effect as soon as possible, so I'm going to do everything I can to, be stronger and better than I've ever been before, and I cannot wait to get back in the ring because being hurt makes me realize how much I do love pro wrestling, and that's about it. And Rick, please tell Ashley I said hello, and that she's doing great.
Oh, I will for sure.
And other than that, just rock on, everybody.
Yeah, well, you're going to be great, man. You've got a long future. I'm sure the surgery will work out. Give my best to Matt. And one more question: how is the Hurricane doing?
Oh, he's doing great. He's wrestling again.
Yeah,
he had an ACL surgery, but he's back in action under the hood, and he does the Omega shows that we do. He pretty much runs them himself, and we do. Those are great. Those are always great. And he's staying busy. He's enjoyed working with TNA. He's kind of an agent type, guy, and he's great. He got a great mind for the business.
Oh, he's with TNA now. I didn't know that. That's great. Yeah, he'll send me a picture, a text every once in a while, and I think the world of him. I tell you what a great guy he is. So, obviously on my third marriage, I tried to be big time again, and I went to Grand Cayman, right? So Hurricane's girlfriend missed the flight, right? And Hurricane just left her in Miami. And he came to the wedding without her. my greatest Hurricane story. I'm not missing Naja's wedding, honey. You're not here on time. I'll see you when I get back. And if you're not here, I'll find somebody over here to bring home.
Hilarious.
He is, every now and then you meet like a super intelligent, witty guy. And like Shane is one of those guys. He's so quick and just funny, and can make you laugh until your jaws hurt. So he's great, and he's doing extremely well. Yeah,
he and I ask him next time you see him. So they send me and Hurricane to Djibouti to see the troops, right? That's in South Africa where all the hardcore guys are, the SEALs, Green Berets, all the badasses, right? So they pretty much make their own rules. Like normally if you've been overseas, Jeff, you go to these bases and the guys get like 3 tags for 3 tickets so they can get 3 beers a night. Well, in Djibouti, man, they make all their own rules. Yep. And here's a Hurricane. There was some chick over there that was a colonel that flew one of those big planes that she was from Goldsboro. I guess there's a base in Goldsboro, North Carolina. And hell, me and Hurricane at 4 o'clock in the morning, these guys had made a hangar over there into a nightclub. 4 o'clock in the morning, they said, "Come on with us." I said, "You can't say anything." I said, "Say anything to who? Who am I going to tell over here?" They took us in the hangar, hit the switches. neon lights, music, and all the booze he wanted. Hurricane and I damn near missed the ride home the next day.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, God, I know it never ends. Anyway,
It doesn't.
tell him I said hi. We love you, Jeff. My best to Beth.
Sure.
Family.
Okay, I sure will.
Merry Christmas. My best to Matt. You guys, I know. Just keep on keeping on, buddy. You're the best.
All right. Okay, you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, bye-bye.
Well, another Woo Nation in the can there, Nate.
That was good, huh?
Best of all time, man. I don't know that we'll have a more interesting guest than Jeff Hardy ever.
No, he's great. I mean, if I didn't know, I should have asked him last night. I didn't know whether he'd seen the TLC. Jeff is one of those guys. When he said he doesn't like to watch it sometimes because it depresses him when he's not able to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he is a kamikaze pilot, man. I mean, this guy, motocross. I mean, he just likes to do something. I mean, that thing he did with Edge, the spear was enough. But I couldn't remember if that was him that jumped off a ladder on top of Edge, jumped onto another ladder and broke in Chicago. I couldn't remember, but he just, he brought it to our attention that it was him. The guy's phenomenal. He's afraid of nothing, fearless. So I hope everything goes well for him for this leg and his injury and his healing process, because he's a big part of the history of our business, I feel like. And coming from the Carolinas, just a great guy, a great father. So God bless Jeff Hardy and the whole family.
Absolutely, man. And what a great guest. And I think a lot of people listening really do hope that he gets another opportunity in the WWE. I know a lot of people are encouraged by what's happened with the Dudley Boys and what they've been able to help do with the tag team division. But the Hardy Boys back in there with the Dudley Boys, I mean, that's some of people's favorite wrestling memories from the Attitude Era, for sure.
Yeah, he's got to come back to WWE. That's his home, and he worked hard to get there. And that's taking nothing away from TNA, but it's just, those guys, they're Hall of Fame guys, and I'm sure that they'll end up there sooner or later.
Hey, so let me ask you, what's your opinion on, the Hurricane character? I know that, Greg Helms probably can't do that on the independents, but why don't you think that Hurricane is more involved in some capacity with WWE than, I know he's at TNA, and I know, Jeff said he's an agent, but everybody has always had nothing but glowing things to say about him. Wouldn't he be a great candidate for an NXT or a Performance Center or an agent for the main roster?
I most definitely think so. I don't know that I didn't even, until Jeff mentioned it, I didn't know that he'd be interested in doing something like that. But I'm sure. I mean, they love it. I worked with the Hurricane when he was the Hurricane up at WWE. We stole it one night, man. Don't put me out there. But that character was phenomenal. I don't remember how it was very entertaining.
Absolutely.
And they put he and I out there one night, and we tore it down. he's just a great guy, and he can really work. And he went through a lot with that motorcycle accident. I almost killed him, and he literally he kept his girlfriend from being beheaded at that fence they hit. So he pushed her off the motorcycle just in turn. But he went through a terrible time with that leg, and I'm glad to hear it healed up. He's a great guy. That's a good question, though. I might text him today and say what's up, because they can always use more help at NXT. Because they keep expanding the developmental, and it just gets bigger every day. They're over in England right now, selling out arena after arena. As a matter of fact, tonight they're in London in the small building, 10,000 people already sold out. So they're having a great tour over there, and the company is rocking and rolling right now. But I think there's always be a place for the Hardys, and I'm sure that if Hurricane went and interviewed with Hunter or whoever, or Mark Carano, that he'd find a position for him. I don't know why not. He's a great guy too, in terms of just being a good person to be around. There's no nonsense with Hurricane.
And he's funnier than hell, and he would make a great podcast guest for us.
Oh, it'd be great. We can do that. I'll give Hurricane a call today. But I'm really telling you what you got to do. You've got his number. Text him. Remember, you need to bring in Jeff. Just don't tell Beth. You need to bring in Jeff to the Conradison, man.
Well, hey, man,
he'll
this was
fit right in, buddy.
I have no doubt. I'm sure that there will be things that we can't
I
talk
probably
about
won't be able to find you for a couple of days if you hang out with him for a night. Well, man, I'll talk to you later on today, but holy cow, a week from now, you know where we'll be? Woo! The Big D. D-Man, Fifi the French maid, and to be announced at the Big D. In the Big D. Woo-woo!